Some of the narratives are getting real weird. Some of the narratives are getting real weird. Let's talk about it right now. Let's talk about it right now. I got a couple minutes, man. Let's let it brew, let it marinate. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I'm the best reporting on the Eagles. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Eagles Nation. You know what I'm saying? I'm confused as to why a year and a half later, or why are we talking about Jalen Hurts playoff run that happened the year before last? Why is everybody so? And you go on Twitter right now at Lord_Brunson. You see me and Acho, Emmanuel Acho had a little small do-si-do. Not really a back and forth. All respect. All respect. You know what I'm saying? All respect. You know what I mean? Respectful football talk. That's what we like to indulge in, man, until other people like to make it go left. I'm talking about the trolls. But where's these weird narratives coming from? You know what I mean? It started from when Cam Newton saying he prefers Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts. There's nothing wrong with that. I ain't mad at that. I don't think Dak Prescott is a bad player. I like regular season Dak Prescott. But if I had Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts on the same roster, I'm probably going to go with Jalen Hurts. And that's just not the Eagle in me. You know, I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts is better at winning during adversity. That stuff don't point. You can't point that out at the combine. You know what I mean? Coming from behind and finding ways to win, you can't point that type of stuff out. You know what I mean? There's no metric for that, for you to be able to gauge that. That's just one thing that Jalen Hurts is better at. Last year, Jalen Hurts had the highest QBR when trailing. Dak had the worst. Dak had the worst passer rating, QBR, whichever one it was. Dak was last. Jalen was first. I'm going to go with the guy that could deal with adversity because adversity happens in football games. Adversity like your defense not being able to hold up. So you got to shoot it out with the offense. That's what Jalen Hurts did in the Super Bowl. The defense couldn't get a stop. Dak did in the playoffs. Defense couldn't get a stop. He started throwing pick sixes, trying to keep his team in the game, not level-headed when adversity hits. That's the main discrepancy, you know what I mean, for me. So, you know, Cam says his piece. Cool. I respect Cam's opinion because I don't really think nobody's out of bounds for feeling like that. They both good quarterbacks. So the debate gets on to the show with Shady Acho, James Jones, and Joy Taylor. You know what I mean? Shady's stance has always been Jalen got to show him more. Jalen got to show him more next year, which I don't even agree with that stance because Jalen Hurts had a career year in total yards and a career year in total touchdowns. The defense was the issue last year. That's my stance on that. But again, I'm not mad at nobody that has to say Jalen Hurts has to show them more. You know, Joy Taylor says, well, if you're going to judge these two quarterbacks, if you're going to put these two quarterbacks against each other, you got to do it from when Jalen Hurts became a starter. Makes sense. Since 2021, these guys are identical in touchdowns. Jalen got more rushing yards. Jalen got more come from behind wins. All since the 2021, they're pretty close in total yards. You know what I mean? Jalen, I think, got more wins. He was 10-1 the last two seasons at some point. You know what I mean? Cool. James Jones flips it. There's nothing that Jalen Hurts does better than Dak Prescott. Well, first he says he runs the read option better and he does the tush push better. But they talk about those two instances when you grade in quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, like those things aren't a part of football. They talk about those instances like those things aren't valuable to have at the quarterback position. There's other things that Jalen Hurts does better than Dak Prescott. I mentioned winning from behind. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Dak Prescott throws that much better of a ball than Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, are we really grasping at straws, judging these two guys, when we shouldn't even be, again, grading Dak Prescott with Jalen Hurts? Dak is going on 31. Jalen just turned 25. What are we talking about here, for real, for real? What are we talking about here? And I'm being as fair and I'm being as subjective as I possibly can. You know what I mean? Because this debate is like tiring. You can't judge Dak against guys like Matthew Stafford. You can't judge Dak against those guys, the Lamars. You can't judge him against MVPs and NFL champions because he never been out the second round. So let's judge him against Trevor Lawrence. Let's judge him against guys who just got their first bag while he's looking for pretty much his third bag because he was franchise tagged. Let's judge him with those guys. It don't even make sense for real, for real. You got to judge Dak Prescott with his peers, and Jalen Hurts not even his peer. He not even his peer. And Dallas Cowboys fans at this point, they have been diminished. They have been diminished to just being happy that people talking good about the guy. They have been diminished. As long as the media say something good about Dak Prescott, that is their Super Bowl parade. That's their Super Bowl parade. That's their Super Bowl parade. I'd much rather have the quarterback that showed me he could get it done or showed me he can get me to a certain place. You know what I mean? I'd much rather have that guy and then have the media question his ability. Because you can't question ability from things that you saw. Now, let's get into the things let's get into the narrative that the media is trying to spin right now in order to save face for Dak Prescott. This is the narrative that they're trying to run with right now. Yep, Rome, CFT, and Mark Holmes. What do you mean? This is the narrative that they're trying to run with right now, that Jalen Hurts was carried in his playoff run. Jalen Hurts was carried in his playoff run. This is what Emmanuel Acho said on live TV. I don't know if it was today. I don't know when it was. You know what I mean? Please say Dak faves nor Cowboy fans. Listen, bro. I don't know when it was. I don't know when he said this, but this is the most tired narrative, and it absolutely makes no sense. In the Giants game, mind you, I was there. All of these people looking at box scores, man. Acho wasn't there. Acho was looking at the box scores, bruh. Jalen Hurts had 188 yards. The Giants only had the ball 5 times in the first half of the game. That's all fine and dandy. But when a team comes to play on both sides of the ball, you can't X out what the offense did in order to say that anybody could have won that game against the Giants. Mind you, the Giants just beat the number 2 seed the week prior. Jalen Hurts was coming off of an injury. Nobody didn't even know if he was going to be able to run the ball or play the game that he was going to play when the game started. We was coming off a bye. You haven't seen Jalen Hurts in a while be the Jalen Hurts that got him second place in MVP votings up into that season. He missed some time towards the end of the season. Jalen Hurts in the first half of that game accounted for 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing, 120 passing yards. If Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes put a game out of reach in the first half like that, we're saying that that's an elite performance. Jalen Hurts put himself in a position to not have to play hard in the second half. How can you knock that when you praised him for it in the regular season, which got him the MVP award? I don't understand, Acho. I don't understand. Now, if you want to see what's going on Twitter, go on my Twitter, follow me at @Lord_Brunson. I don't understand it. The Philadelphia Eagles, in the first half of games, when we had the last Super Bowl run, in the first half of games, the Philadelphia Eagles averaged damn near 25 points a game. We was getting people out of here. The main question was, well, what's going to happen when somebody make them play 4 quarters? I don't think that they're going to be able to do this in the playoffs. You know how impressive it is to do what you was doing in the regular season that got you the number 1 seed, then do it again in the playoffs? Finish teams by the half? Finish teams by the half? Jalen Hurts was on pace for 240 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. That was the pace he was on. He just did half of it in the first half, and the Giants could not come back from that. I think it was 28-0 at halftime. The game was over. Mind you, I was there. Those are the type of performances you want from a franchise quarterback. Get it over with. Why go out there and struggle and play with him when you could get him out, when you could score 3 times in the first half? Get it over with. But now he was carried. Now that's the narrative. Now let's go to the San Francisco 49ers game. The Eagles got the ball first. The Eagles scored. It was 7-0. Now Brock Purdy's up. The defense knocked Brock Purdy out the game. At that point, Jalen Hurts already showed you. And I think we went for it on a 4th down in that game. On that drive. At that point, Jalen Hurts already showed you that he can go down and score on these boys. Miles Sanders was running good. Jalen was throwing dots. He showed you that he could score on those guys. It's not our fault that Purdy got knocked out. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Now let's go to next season. Where was the defense had to carry Jalen Hurts then? When Jalen Hurts was carrying the defense, trailing by 10 4 times last year and winning those games, tied the NFL record, might I add. Emmanuel Acho was the same guy riding the coattails of the success of Jalen Hurts. Now you want to flip-flop. A lot of these dudes been secretly, and I mean secretly, waiting for the Philadelphia Eagles to stumble or lose a step. They've been secretly waiting for it. But every team got their ups and downs. Every team got their ups and downs. And they doing a lot of this capping in the media, all to save face for Dak Prescott. All to save face for a guy who has not been outside the second round in 8 years. In 8 years. Shitting on other players is not going to help Dak Prescott in the divisional round this year if he even get there. It ain't going to help him. Only Dak Prescott can help him. Then James Jones. Oh, it's nothing Jalen Hurts does better than Dak Prescott. That don't got nothing to do with the shortcomings of Dak Prescott. Everybody on the internet, oh, he cooking. You could buy the groceries for Dak, but he got to cook himself. Dak got to change the perception of his playoff, of what he doing in the playoffs. Nothing what you say bad about Jalen Hurts or Trevor Lawrence getting his bag or Josh Allen, his shortcomings in the playoffs, or Lamar Jackson winning MVP 2 times in a row. Nothing y'all say about any other quarterback is ever going to help Dak Prescott in the divisional round. It's never going to help Dak Prescott in the divisional round. Acho was the same guy last year that said Justin Fields was better than Jalen Hurts. Can we really even take anything that some of these guys on TV say serious? Especially Dallas Cowboys fans and content creators. Y'all said Shady, who been in the league over 10 years. Y'all said Shady don't know how to talk about football. He debate like a child. What gave some of you fucking content creators the license to say y'all know more about football than somebody who played in the NFL? Come on, bro. The arrogance on that Dallas Cowboys content creator side is wild. It's wild. They actually think they know more than LaShawn McCoy. Because LaShawn McCoy got a barbershop style of talking about sports. They actually think they know more than Shady. They actually think they know more than Shady. Then when Joy Taylor talking her piece, sexist comments, she need all of this get back in the kitchen energy that y'all give Joy Taylor. She don't know nothing. I don't know why y'all got her on the show. But let somebody praise Dak. They cooking now. When Dak gonna cook, though? When is Dak Prescott gonna cook, though? Why y'all beg so much for the media to kiss Dak Prescott ass? Why y'all beg for it? It's not going to change what he do in the playoffs. It's not going to change the simple fact that he can't get it done. It's not. You can say whatever you want to say. Well, yeah, they need to apologize to Joy. I made that video. You can say whatever you want to say about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been to an NFC championship game. He's been to a Super Bowl. Those are things that Dak Prescott has not accomplished. Those are things that Dak Prescott has not accomplished. Dak Prescott is the longest tenured quarterback in the National Football League. Meaning, for all the slow Cowboys fans in the chat, meaning he has been with that one team, that one organization longer than everybody else. Actively right now. Has not been past the second round of the postseason. Whatever you got bad to say about Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, any of these other quarterbacks who's still in their 20s, whatever you got bad to say about them, it don't change the fact that Dak Prescott lost to Jordan Love at home. It don't change that fact that Dak Prescott lost to Jordan Love at home. And they got the bricks beat off him, and he threw 2 picks in that game. Another thing that Jalen Hurts does better than Dak Prescott is not throw picks in the postseason. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. How many interceptions has Dak thrown in the last 3 Cowboys playoff losses? 5. 5. If If Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen would have disposed of the Giants the way Jalen Hurts did in the first round to get to a championship game, they will be calling the performance elite, bro. They're not gonna be saying he got carried. How the hell do a quarterback get carried that accounted for 3 touchdowns in the first half of a game? Make that make sense. Now, I'm not going to stoop low and say, oh, Acho mad that the Eagles cut him. I'm not going to say that because I don't think he's mad that the Eagles cut him. I don't think so. I don't think he's mad that the Eagles cut him. But speaking all eloquently and sounding like a tight-ass Pee Wee Herman on TV don't mean you right. It don't mean you know more than the next man. Because when y'all want to be biased against Jalen Hurts, all the logic that y'all sound like y'all got go out the window, bro. It go out the window. It go out the window. All this to save face for Dak Prescott. I understand Dak Prescott is a human being, and we all want Dak Prescott to get paid. I want him to get paid. He gonna get paid. But if you're speaking from a business aspect and a business model, a change of scenery is needed. He been there too long. He can't get it done. He can't get it done there. Maybe it's too much pressure. He can't get it done there. You got Cowboys content creators talking about he the most hated. He the most hated. Jerry Jones don't hate him. Jerry Jones paid him, extended him, and probably gonna pay him again. How many chances do you need to prove at a playoff run? He's never had a playoff run. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Dak Prescott, not 8 years in the league, never had a playoff run. Come on, bro. Come on. I'm all for supporting your guy and all of this, man. But you got to let delusional people be delusional. You think that I would be screaming for another contract for Jalen Hurts if he was here for 8 years and never had a playoff run? I know it's hurt season and all of that. But do you think I would want to keep Jalen Hurts around? If that's the case, McNabb should have retired the Eagle. No, sometimes you got to cut the bait. Sometimes you got to cut bait. Sometimes you got to cut bait. Shit. At this point, a mass murderer, a serial killer, a serial killer could go cam up right now, get on YouTube and say, well, Dak Prescott is top 5. The Cowboys content creators and fans going to retweet it. Cowboys content creators and fans are looking for praise from anybody. The crackhead in front of Wawa, somebody in the 2nd grade. As long as you say something good about Dak Prescott, they feel validated. That's how special they think they are. But real football fans can't say nothing good about nobody who ain't had no playoff run, man. Where's the playoff run at? Nobody don't care about what no damn Emmanuel Ocho got to say after he done flip-flop. Man been flipping like a pillow in a motel trying to find a cool side for 2 seasons in a row now. And now you want to tell me somebody that speaks as eloquently as Emmanuel Acho is telling me that Jalen Hurts was carried in a Giants game because you looked at a box score, 188 passing yards, 120 of them came in the first half with 3 total touchdowns. He ended the game in the first half. Ain't that what elite quarterbacks do? But he was carried though, right? He was carried, right? He was carried, right? Get out of here, bro. They don't got nothing to talk about on that show. They talking about a playoff run that happened the year before last. The year before last. A playoff run that happened the year before last. Why y'all not talking about nobody playoff run from last year? Why y'all not talking about Baker Mayfield having the same amount of playoff wins as Dak? Talk about Baker Mayfield beating the Eagles. Why y'all not talking about Jordan Love beating the Cowboys, the first 7th seed to win a playoff game? Why y'all not talking about shit that happened last year? Y'all reached back for a whole year ago. You reached back a whole year ago to talk about Jalen Hurts' playoff run. To talk about Jalen Hurts' playoff run. That sound like a bunch of haters, man. They sound like a bunch of haters. They sound like a bunch of haters, man. And you know, that's just real, bro. That's just real, man. They sound like a bunch of haters, man. Dak Prescott so much better than everybody. Why he ain't get his bag yet, bro? Why they waiting to pay him, bro? Why they waiting to pay him? Y'all up here fanboying for a quarterback that said we got going late. After they got the brakes beat off him by the Packers. He said in the press conference, we got going late. Tank Lawrence said we was tired. That's y'all king? Jalen Hurts would never say nothing like that in the press conference, bro. Never. Another thing that Jalen do better than Dak, man up, live up to the moment. When the lights has been as bright on Dak Prescott, he has folded. You seen Jalen under the bright lights. Ironic though. Y'all talk about the playoff games and how the Eagles made him a cakewalk, but y'all never talk about the Super Bowl, which Jalen Hurts set records in. Y'all never talk about the Super Bowl. Y'all never talk about the Super Bowl where Jalen Hurts put on a masterful performance and got the ultimate praise from the best quarterback in the game and announcers all over the world and end up getting extended. Y'all never talk about how he earned his respect on the biggest stage, although he fell short. Y'all never talk about that, though. Here go a dummy in the chat. Bro, Jalen is a one-read quarterback. How many reads do it take to run the option? Don't you got to make more than one read to run a read option or RPO? As you were. Matter of fact, somebody get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? The Super Bowl make them sick because that Super Bowl shows them what it really is and what it really could be. It shows them what it really is and what it could be. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line, man. At 4:30, man, me and Simone, we gonna go live. I'm gonna go to the gym because these haters out here in full hate mode. Make sure y'all close y'all rings, drink y'all water. Y'all see me, man. Big gallon. I'm late on my gallon. Go to the gym with my old lady, man. Y'all ain't gonna. It's off season. Y'all ain't gonna get me into perspective like it's week 2.